we could be losing Flacco, and we could be using Fabinho. So Henderson. Now everyone's like, oh, hold on a minute, this isn't good. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think right now, whether Henderson does go or not, we've lost James Milner. He was a leader. He was the vice captain. We lose Henderson. He's the captain. People don't look at it, but Thiago is a captain in himself as well. He does a lot for the players who don't speak English. He speaks multiple languages. He's
which Milner also did, and now Milner's gone as well.
Thiago is one of the players that, for one, there is no player on the planet as good as Thiago without an ego. You will never find a player as good as Thiago without an ego. And we have a player as good as Thiago who does not have an ego, who is actually happy to come on and play 5 minutes, 10 minutes, see out a game, and then play when he's needed. So Bobby, another one. Do you know what I'm saying? We've lost senior players. And if we do lose all three of these guys, I don't believe we're bringing in a mature 29-year-old. I want Paulinho to replace Paulinho, for example. Like he's the one I've said. Paulinho, not Ugarte, Caicedo. Them guys are great. I want Paulinho. I want, again, the 2 8s that are going to be starting for Liverpool are 24 and 22. Don't give me no 20-year-old DM. Do you know what I'm saying? With Henderson in and around the squad, I feel like it's just going to be better for Liverpool because we need to win now over the next 2 years because Salah's not going to be here. Virgil's going to be with a walking stick. Alisson's going to be approaching a certain age. Robbo's already on the decline. The only person left in this sort of trophy-winning spine, quad challenging spine, is really going to be Trent and Jota. And Jota
Ali, isn't it?
And Ali, but an aging Ali, and it's just going to be Trent. So, you know, I just think it's just funny how when you want a certain guy to go, and then when he's actually being linked with the move, everyone wants to backtrack in it. So
it comes down to the fact that people don't usually think about what, and we're all guilty of this. It's not even a finger pointing thing. This is just, we get emotional as fans, right? It's how it goes. It's a finger pointing thing. So if we're not doing well, and this is why I kept on saying to everyone, try and keep your emotions in check. People will say I'm emotional, but I still think I'm very controlled in how I look at the overall picture of things. I might get a bit emotional about my favorite player or something like that, but overall, I've been trying to say to people throughout this season, it's never as bad as you think it is. I weren't happy with this. You lot know already I weren't happy with the way the season went. But I think that bad season is dictating a lot of why people felt the way they did. So as soon as we've lost the game, or we've drawn a game, or dropped points, or we're out of a cup or whatever, right, who's the person I got to blame for this? I would hear people call James Milner's name, and he didn't even have a bad game. It was just, I can't believe James Milner plays, so he's got something to do with it. It's James Milner's fault. Rare. Henderson falls in that bracket. Flacco then became part of that. Robertson, to a degree, became part of that. Van Dijk is now part of that. There's like people in our team now that's easy. Throw it at him. He's the reason why. Nunes, oh Jesus, he wasn't even given a month before it was his fault why everything was going wrong. Like, it's crazy to me how we become a fan base now. And I don't mean to be shady, but a bit like Arsenal, where we're just becoming so like it's either black or white. And there's no in the middle anymore. It's just like outrage or joy. There's no like room for like just in the middle. Can we just be calm? So all that finger pointing, months. That's why everybody's like, Flacco go, Hendo go, Thiago is always ill. But as you said, then everybody turns around now and thinks, oh shit, hold on, this might not be a good idea actually. Because what if they all go at the same time?
Yeah, because, I mean, we're talking about Thiago as well. There's links that Thiago might be going to Barca this summer as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Look, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of like Thiago. So like, as in, I think he's an amazing player. I don't think he's been the guy for Liverpool. Like, I don't think he's performed the way he should have on a consistent basis. And then obviously he's not available as well. So it just means it's more of a problem than a solution. But to let go of all these players that have won something under this manager and expect that Liverpool are going to be challenging or trying to do something next season, forget about it. Forget about it.
I'm going to ask you this. If we get rid of all these players, which one of them are the players that actually won the big boy trophies?
Yeah, the ones that have won would obviously be Robbo, Trent.
No, I mean midfielders.
Midfield, no one. No one.
How important is winning mentality in a football team?
Well, we've spoken about. We've said that the midfield's been the most important. I think people are forgetting as well. Even if you were to go and bring in the best midfielders, right? You could bring in flipping Modric, De Bruyne, and someone else, right? It's going to take a while for them to even like get their shit, sorry, excuse my language, together before they can start going and playing. We saw how long it took the midfield to start clicking and operating the way it did before we won anything. Before that, the press wasn't on. Sometimes it was great. Other times we got bypassed. We're conceding goals. It was like we were winning games 4-3. Do you know what I mean? And the whole thing was blamed on the defense, but it was the whole system, like in general.
Yeah, 17-18 season.
Exactly. Yeah. I just feel. I said, and I said it on Kopish, ironically as well. Liverpool ain't winning the big thing for the next 5 years. A year down, we've got 4 years to go. And the reason being is that Liverpool aren't replacing Henderson with a Casemiro. They're not replacing, Fabinho with a Kovacic. If you're trying to replace them with like Thuram and Lavia, not only are they not of the quality and haven't proved it yet, even though they can get there, in my opinion, you're expecting them to all hit the ground running. When do Liverpool signings always start and hit the ground running from the beginning of the season? Trent said it himself. To beat City, you got to be now perfect. Perfect. Do you think these players are going to have do you think they're going to be perfect? Do you think Lavia's going to have a perfect 38-game season? No injuries? I don't know, man. I don't know. And that, for me, that's the problem with getting rid of a Henderson and a Fabinho. I think if you went and got in a Casemiro and then even like a Mason Mount, even like before you went to United, got him to replace Henderson, along with getting the midfielders that we got, then you can be like, yeah, all right, cool. We're in a similar situation. I mean, you've got one that's won everything. You've got another person that's won and he's played games. And then you might be able to go and do what people are expecting, which is like win the Europa and come third or come second or whatever. If people are expecting us to do more than that with what we've got, yeah, I just don't see it, man.
Yeah, it's a mad one. And the decision hasn't been made yet. So again, we're just talking about the facts we've been given. So nothing is factual here, but it is looking very likely. That's the whole reason we're having this conversation. Losing Flacco and Hendo at the same time, I think, is more what my issue is. If just one of them goes, I can live with it and I can understand.
Yeah.
Both of them going at the same time is the craziness. Because I said this in the Summer Daily Show, and I'll say this again for anyone who didn't hear. If this happens and Flacco and Henderson both leave, the only player who will be fit and available to start the season, who is part of last season, is Curtis Jones. That is madness. I'll say that again. The only fit and available player for the start of this season who was actually a Liverpool player last season in midfield will be Curtis Jones. Milner, Hendo, Flacco, Naby, Ox, all gone. Thiago, question mark, and he's not fit to start anyway.
5.
Bajcetic, not fit to start anyway.
5 midfielders drifting.
Madness. That is actually madness. If Thiago does go Barcelona, that's 6 midfielders in the same summer.
That's Chelsea. That's what Chelsea have done.
8 or 9.
That's just dumb because as well, like, do you know how stupid that is? The fact that I don't think we'll get rid of 6, man, and I hope we don't. As I said, it's looking likely that we get rid of at least 4. But to even think these men are going to gel straight away, as I said, our spine doesn't have long left. What winners we have left in our squad, they don't have long. Like, all you need to do is phase man out year by year. It's not rocket science. Like me, between all 3 of them, I'll sell Fabinho. Me personally, because Fabinho is the most. Fabinho out of all of them he's replaceable. At the level he's at now, by the way, not at his prime, he's replaceable right now. Thiago, I don't think his quality is replaceable, but I'd still have him in the squad. Henderson,
do you know what's mad though?
I'll keep
Henderson. Yeah, do you know what's mad though? And I was talking about Thiago before we move on. I think this Thiago, like, I think I'm not gonna lie, the shimmies and the foot movements across the ball and stuff. I think they're doing they're actually just, I mean, they're getting us excited over nothing. I think when you look at what he's provided in a game, it's not much. There's certain games where he's been amazing, right? 100%. We can all say that. There's been certain times when you've seen like a flash of brilliance, but I haven't had a performance from him, bar maybe United, that I remember when you got the standing ovation where it's like, oh, he won the game for us, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
but I think with Thiago is not there to win the game for us. He's there to dictate the game for
no,
us.
but you know, like a
He
Scholes.
dictates the game at a better level. He dictates, bro. For me, he dictates the game very well, and it's not just about the little waggles and the shimmies. It's the passing through the lines, because like it or hate it, we don't have
but
players
when we
that
say
can pass through the lines apart from Trent. We don't.
When
Now we do. Now we do
when
with our
JJ
signings. Now we do.
But once when JJ and I talk about winning games, what Thiago didn't physically win us the game by getting a goal, or it's just, I mean, taking away from the opposition, taking the game away. When we're in a winning position and they look to come back, he took it away from them. That's what we're talking about. And
I think
whenever he does do it, he does it great. He does it at a great level, but we don't see it enough.
Yeah, what I mean for me,
we don't see him enough.
No, about him, but even it, because what I mean by that is, for how good, maybe I'm overrating him then, right? But for how good I think Thiago is, his impact on Liverpool should have been greater in games on a more consistent basis, even when he's playing. There's been certain games and stuff where we've looked at the midfield and we're like, yeah, he was decent, he was all right, he was a 7 out of 10. It's not been like, oh, he's not available, but every time he plays, he's on form, he's amazing. Do you know what I mean? And for me,
he is better than everyone else.
I slightly disagree, but I think the year when he did the quad, I thought he was brilliant that season.
He was good. He was great that season.
I think the other 2 seasons we had drama, which unfortunately has coincided with him being there. COVID the first year, and then last year,
Drifty. I just think with certain players, we don't really take in context as opposed to other players. So with Thiago, I feel like for those who feel like he needs to go, I feel like they don't really look at the context as much as they would because of how good he is. So it's like, it's almost, he's so good and he should have been better, which I agree as well. But we don't really take in the context as much. If you ask a player who's world class to play in a position that they shouldn't be playing, in a midfield who has no one, because that's what it was when he came in. He started brilliantly, got injured, came back. There's no midfielders there. There was no DMs. So he's asked to play a 6 role on his own that he's never played before. So in that sense, again, what do you want a player like Thiago to do? When he was able to play with Fabinho towards the back end of the season, where he was claimed to have a rubbish season, he was actually one of the reasons to why we clawed ourselves back to 3rd place, along with Fabinho. There was a crazy stat where when him and Fabinho started, we didn't lose a single game. I think we won every single game bar one.
No, I agree. I agree with that. But the thing is,
but then man are saying, I'm seeing it in the chat. You're saying it that Thiago, again, in my opinion, yes, compared to the standard we wanted to see him at, he hasn't fulfilled that. But he's still been better than a lot of midfielders, and his standard he has set has still been.
But that's not our issue.
But what I'm saying is the problem you've got is, I'm not saying he's not more talented than anyone that we've seen. Like, as a signing, I can be honest, he's the best ready-made sign, 100%. But what I'm saying is that when you're looking at a Thiago, right, what he became at Liverpool was he became the system, essentially. So when we're trying to go and keep the ball, we're playing into him. He's playing it back, we're playing it into him. And what happens is it's great. He's able to go and do that in certain games. In other games, he wasn't able to go and do that. And then when we needed him, he's not available. So when you're relying on someone that's injury prone like that, especially because you know the talent that they've got, you get stuck in a situation like Arsenal were with Wilshere, where Wilshere should have been moved on ages ago because he's injured. But you're like, because of his talent, we can go and play him. And then you look at Thiago, we talk about the games we won. We talk about the games we won, which we did. The whole team started playing better. The whole team started playing better. It's like us using the example now that, the only reason why, we went on this run towards the back of last season was just because Trentman played in this inverted role. It wasn't only that. It was the fact that Virgil started having better games. Salah was playing a bit better. He was scoring more goals. Jones went and started playing games. It's a team effort. So Thiago has not, for me, been a standout in a Liverpool midfield where he should be. But we need right now. We need him.
He was but in the best Liverpool midfield where we went for the quad in the last, he's been here 3 years. And in the quad winning season, he was arguably our best midfielder, along with Fabinho before his legs went. Like, and why is everyone quoting talent? I'm talking about context. And if you want to talk about the positions he's been playing, that's a Jurgen Klopp problem. The fact that he's diving into tackles and having to do doggies is a Klopp problem. That's a systematic issue, not a Thiago issue.
But guess what? If that's the system, then and he's unable to go and fulfill that role in the system, whether it's because he ain't got the legs to go and run. No. But then he doesn't fit it. Forget it, because you can't go and change that issue. It's like if I tell you, yeah, you're coming to my birthday and all I've got is chicken there, but you're telling me you're vegan. Yeah, it might be my problem, but great, but I'm not catering to you for that. Thiago isn't available enough for us to cater towards what Thiago wants to go and do, because
now we can. But I'm saying, my point is that now that we have 2-8s who are younger and can also be creative and can actually play forward passes, now we can actually use Thiago sparingly. So for me, a player like Thiago is low risk. I just stick with the point that everyone loves to ignore the context because he's so good and loves to throw the injury card, which again, to be fair, is a fair argument.
It's a big card.
It is a big card, but at the end of the day, whoever you bring in for Thiago is going to play less games than Thiago, because whoever you're going to bring in is going to be younger than him, inexperienced, and just like how someone said, I'd rather have Henderson coming off the bench than Bajcetic. I'd rather have Thiago coming off the bench than either of them. And let's not act like Henderson has the cleanest injury record. He gets injured loads as well. Like, hold on, I'm just saying, let me finish. Let me land with this one.
Yeah.
Like, Thiago is probably going to start 15 games in the Premier League for Liverpool if we keep him for the whole season. Because usually, like, people act like he plays 1 game a season or 2 games a season. He will start 15 games. In the quad winning season, when he was fit, the results were evident. Like, we can say he wasn't great in the system. Yeah. He wasn't great in the system when he played out of position. When he played with Fabinho in the role he was supposed to play with Fabinho, we were back to the old Liverpool.
But it's when. How many times was it, Mons?
But he doesn't play 1 game a season. He's gonna play. He's gonna start 15 games.
No, I agree.
That's what
I agree. So when Thiago's fit, right, and when McAllister's fit, currently on paper.
So I didn't mean quad winning season, quad challenging. You know.
Yeah. When McAllister's fit, then, and when Thiago's fit, and when Jones is fit, right, they all play. We're assuming they're going to play on the left. We don't know yet, right? And I'm going to ask this to everyone: is Thiago a guaranteed starter at Liverpool?
If he's fit. If
he's fit, then I would probably say yeah.
But that's my point. Because Thiago's such a unique player, and when I'm talking about his ability, what happens is that then he becomes the system because of how he plays.
He's not because the system.
No. But ultimately he does. It's like great example, right? When we went and changed to this inverted role, if you remember, Thiago, when he came on, he never came on the left side of midfield, you know. Remember, even against West Ham, he came on even as the right. He either came on as a 6 or as a sub, or came on on the right hand side. Reason being is because he can't do, like, he's not the same type of profile as a Jones to go and do this thing where he's standing on the last man, coming off the front line to go and kind of play in those half spaces, right? With a Thiago, what happens because of how he plays? The players start to go and play to him, and ultimately he becomes the system in terms of like, all right, you're going to dictate the pace of the game, right? When he goes and does that, and he's then not available, it affects the players because it changes the way we have to go and play. If you look at when Liverpool were at their best, every player knew his role. And the great thing about it was even when Henderson was out, who came in? Milner came in, it was just seamless because they just knew what they were doing. They had their role. Thiago doesn't fit into that mold because he's a bit more of a maverick in the midfield. So my problem is that when we're relying on someone like a Thiago to go and essentially do that Gini Wijnaldum 38 games a season, always available, plays every single game, that then hinders us because then we're missing something because the other players don't have it within them or haven't even experienced. Yeah, I'm going to go and try to rise up and I'm going to take over that mantle of doing this because they can't. And what I'm saying is the types of midfielders we bought in terms of McAllister and Szoboszlai, they look like, yeah, you're coming in, but you're coming in to play within this system because you're still, Klopp can still get his claws into them and be like, yeah, this is the way we want to play. Thiago is older. So when you're buying a Thiago, you're buying him for what he is. It's like you said, Mons, a lot of the time. We knew what Thiago was when we bought him. With a McAllister, with a Szoboszlai, we don't know what they are yet. Because Szoboszlai, we were assuming he's going to be this attacking midfielder. He might end up just being a very, very good Henderson replacement. He might end up being.
Probably. I just think that you said that, you know, I understand he has that kind of maverick thing about him, but I think with Thiago, if he's playing his own way and the team are catering to him, and that's not the system, that's either on the players or mismanagement. I just feel like you said we become reliant on Thiago. Before Szoboszlai, before McAllister, Thiago is the be-all and end-all of our midfield. If he doesn't play, it's the catastrophe. If he plays, brilliant. Now that we have Szoboszlai and McAllister, Thiago is not the be-all and end-all. He is still the best midfielder in our team, hands down. But he does not need to start. Hell, he doesn't even need to play because man are happy for him to walk out the door. So if they're happy for him to walk out the door, then clearly he doesn't. It's not an issue whether he plays or not. So having him in the squad is only a bonus to me. Like I understand where you're coming from in terms of the whole, because we've never been good enough to get to where we need to be with a Maverick. As good as Coutinho was, Klopp's always said the high press is going to be better than any 10 you have. Because you're winning the ball up high, you're playing one pass rather than the 10 having to be 3-4 and thread the ball through.
Klopp's system will never allow a Maverick, true.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, Thiago was in Liverpool's pomp in 2022, 2023. Thiago wasn't the Maverick. He wasn't the Maverick. The Sadio Mane, the Luis Diaz, the Mo Salah front three was working in cohesiveness with, again, the midfield of Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago. And he was able to get the ball when he needed to when we were in a different position. Because, again, the ball retention in our team, the legs ain't really there. We have legs in our midfield now. So, again, I just have to go back to it. If Thiago is used as the Maverick, I'll agree with you. But I don't think he'll be used as a Maverick because of the signings we've brought in. We now need to manage the players to play towards the system. And then when Thiago fits in the system, because Thiago is good enough to play any system he needs to play, as long as he's not playing in the six on his own. Because, again, he's too old. Like you said, he's too old for that. He's too old for that now. And we don't want him flying into tackles. His hips, he's got hip surgery. Donny swivels loads. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I'm not completely against it, but I'm very much I'm leaning towards keeping him because, again, whoever we bring in, the inexperience that we bring in for Thiago is only going to play 12, 10 games to Liverpool because we're bedding them in the squad. Buy them next year when they're more developed. Or buy them this year, loan them out.
But that's fair. But that's fair then. What I was trying to say is that, you know, when you, for example, if you were to go and get a Lavia or, for example, a Bajcetic, is it more important then, right, for them to get more minutes under their belt instead of Thiago taking it? That's my point. How important is Thiago to what they're doing? That's why I say if he becomes a starter at Liverpool, then for me, the McAllister's not going to be able to go and impact the team as much as we hope he can.
That's the competition. That's the competition I want to see because now below McAllister and Szoboszlai is Curtis Jones, Henderson, Fabinho, and Bajcetic. That's not a good midfield. That's not good enough. Below the first two, it's not good. Like, I love Curtis Jones, and I think he can be good enough. But apart from those three, that's not good. Unless I'm seeing Trent there, that's not good enough. But
that's why I'm saying with the likes of if you were to purchase a Lavia, right? If there's obviously talks of Turan,
but he's now inexperienced. Now that Henderson's leaving, he's now the inexperienced one.
Because Henderson's leaving 100%.
That's because of Henderson
having a Lavia there. That's what I'm saying. Having a Lavia there, especially when you want to go and do this rebuild, we're not going to go and get anything for Thiago next season because his contract runs out. So that's why I'm trying to find out how important is he to what Liverpool are doing right now. Because the way I look at it, right. Liverpool don't go out and get a McAllister and a Szoboszlai and spend 60 M's on a Szoboszlai and probably would have spent a bit more on McAllister had we not been able to negotiate a deal. And look at buying a Kefren Turan for 60 M's or 50 M's and looking at Lavia for 50 M's if they see Thiago as, you're still our guy in that midfield. City don't go and buy a midfielder for 60 million if they feel like, Gundogan's staying. Do you know what I mean?
But it's future planning as well, though, Jay. You got to remember, knowing he leaves next year is future planning. Do you get what I mean? And what did Klopp admit? He admitted to everyone, I need to be more flexible in my formation, and I will be. So therefore, Thiago can be a part of whatever the plan is for that formation. And then if not, he don't play. Do you know what I mean? It's about having the options. We're too predictable, and we have been for a while. It's just we're so brilliant at what we did, it was hard to stop us. Yeah. But now we've got inexperienced players who don't know the system. We're probably going to go back to it. Might be easier to stop us if we stay predictable till the players get immersed in exactly what it is. So that's why being flexible. So that's why you have a Thiago to switch it up. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's not even just to switch it up as well, Drifty. But like again, I said, we've lost Milner. Yeah. If we are losing Henderson, what experience is left in our midfield? Szoboszlai is 22. McAllister is 24. Curtis Jones is 20. How old is Tony Jones? 21?
23. 23.
22. Trent is 24. That leaves, in terms of experience in our midfield, Thiago, Fab, and Henderson. We're looking to bring in a Lavia who is 19 for one, or something like that. Where's the like, bro? I'm happy to have at least
22, Caicedo's 20. Anyone
man-
we're looking at is a
like,
really
do you know what
young
I'm saying?
player.
Experience this. Like at the end of the day, let experience bed in the new talent. Do you know what I'm saying? Unless you're an Mbappe or you're one of them generational talents, I'm sorry. I need the oldies to bed you in for at least a year. The 10 million we're getting, we would get for Thiago, or the 50 million, that's chicken change. Today's market, that's nothing. 15 million. I'd rather Thiago come on and see out the game so we can win a trophy. That's 50 million well spent for me, rather than getting rid of him. And now we have the only experience we have left in our squad is Fabinho, who will play limited minutes, especially with his injuries, and Henderson, who's going to play. Well, it doesn't even like he's staying at the club. We need at least 2 experienced men. I personally want 3, but we need at least 2 of them.
Nah, I agree. My only worry with obviously the whole Henderson situation is Henderson's shown, even though he gets injuries, he plays a lot of games. He's available for a lot of games, and so is Fabinho. Thiago isn't, and the biggest worry is whoever comes in that midfield. It could be Lavia, Caicedo. Let's say they come in and are having a stinker, right? They're having a stinker. First thing I don't want is us fans to be like, see, I told you, like, they're garbage. We need to get rid of them. I mean, that's the first thing. The second thing is, when they need to just be taken at the firing line? We're now going to start relying on Thiago. Like, you know what, Thiago, you're going to have to go and play. And if he's not available for any reason and he's injured and stuff, your next option is Morton and Bajcetic, because you know that Thiago can't be trusted to be fit. So even if Thiago can get injured in training, we've seen it. Thiago can get injured in training. It's just about him playing games, because he can make appearances, but how many of them does he start? That's then a different one.
I'm not saying I want Thiago to be the only midfielder that we keep, and I'm not saying get rid of Henderson and keep Thiago.
I know you're not, but from the reports that we're hearing, it sounds as though Thiago's going to be the only old guard midfielder that we're going to be at the club. Henderson and Fabinho are going to be leaving, apparently.
Right. Again, all I'm saying is, now that all 3 of them are leaving, everyone's panicking, and I personally think we should at least keep 2 of the 3. What happens is out of our control. We're fans, obviously.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at our midfield, I just can't see past the fact that if we let go of Thiago, we lack quality in the midfield. Bottom line, if you're talking about quality, Szoboszlai, McAllister, and who?
This is the point I'm making, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And man, them don't give me Lavia. He's 19. Don't give me Lavia.
Do you know who would be a replacement, a good replacement? But I don't even think we're going to get him. Someone mentioned in the comments, Tchouaméni. That's the only name I would hear.
Even that.
Even his inexperience, though, you know, bro.
All right, he's playing.
I think he'll need to be.
People talk about, he's played in a World Cup. McAllister won a World Cup. He played multiple games for France. He's a fully fledged international. Played in Champions Leagues. He has more experience than everybody else in the squad.
We need a 6. Klopp needs a 6 for any of his systems to work. Yeah, and if Fabinho is going, I need to see a Paulinho. I need to see an Amrabat. I need to see someone who's 26 plus, who has the experience. As I said, I love Caicedo. I think he's brilliant, but the inexperience is going to kill us. It's going to kill us at the latter end.
The only player that stands out in world football for me that would be a brilliant replacement is De Jong. That's the only type of player that I can see as actually being like, he comes in with the experience, still young enough, and you're like, boom, there you go. He's still part of the future, and he's got the experience. But we're not going to go pay that Frankie money. You don't want to leave Barca anyway. But that's the only caliber of player that I can think that if you lose Fabinho, you lose Henderson, you lose Thiago, if he comes in, you go, I see the method to the madness. Do you get what I'm saying? I get it now. I understand why you've just done that, because you brought this in. But for real, we're bringing in the Lavias and the likes of that. I think for the future, it's great. Right now, it's a worry, though. Unless we just had a bad season. We can't have 2 in a row.
I think the bottom line is we need to bring in experience in it. Like if we're letting experience go, we need to bring in experience. Regardless of who we want individually to go or who we want individually to bring in. We need to make sure, we need to make sure that's
unless this is what I'm saying. Unless the view is from Liverpool, from the camp of Liverpool, they're like, hey, you know what? We're scrapping this season, right?
We're going to revamp
this season. This season is the actual rebuild, and we're having a season that we had when we got top 4 and got to the Champions League semi-final and final and lost to Real Madrid, where it's like we're bedding in these players now because the likes of Soboslai.
Can we afford that season, Jay, after what we just did, though? That's the problem.
Do you know who would suffer?
Can
do
we
you know who
afford
would
to do
suffer?
that
The likes
again?
of Alisson, Salah, and people like that are going to suffer.
But I think if you look at the profile of player that we've gone and purchased, that's what it suggests to me, though. Like when you look at the types of players we've got, even you look at your Nunez's, your Gakpo's, your Luis Diaz's, they're unknown. They were unknown quantities. Like we just spoke about, Thiago was the only player that we bought, and we were like, "Rah, we actually bought Thiago." You know, when have Liverpool gone out and got like a Casemiro like United did? We haven't done that, and we're not. It doesn't look like we're going to go and do that. So for me, it looks like we've gone and said, you know what? We're going to go and bring in these young players. And the fact that we're even entertaining letting go of Fabinho, because best believe we're entertaining it. Because if we weren't entertaining it, it would have been shut down straight away. The fact that we're entertaining Fabinho going, Thiago going, Henderson going, suggests to me we've mortgaged Salah and Virgil off and Alisson, and it's like great. If they can do something, amazing. If they can't, it is what it is. We've really won with them. We're now trying to blood in the new players. But as fans, we've just got to be accepting of the fact that, do you know what I mean? Cool, this is what it is. This is what it is.
I hear you. Bayesian, big up yourself, bro. Welcome to the show. You good?
Big up, boys. Yeah, I'm good. Just on the road driving, but you know I had to jump in on this because this is going to be spicy.
Yeah. Let me just tell some of these supers before I get your opinion on this one, bro.
For sure.
So, we need to get Caicedo and 2 more players, an 8 and a centre back. Definitely.
I've got to ask you this though, yeah. With Caicedo, is he gonna be that guy that we can rely on week in, week out? Because I
believe he's an anomaly to the rule of experience, but even that could be wrong. But I think he's your best bet if you're going for a youngster to cope with the pressure, so to speak, the ins and outs. He played in a system very similar in terms of intense ball retention, all that kind of stuff. So I think he already kind of knows a bit what he's doing in that way, which is what I'm hoping McAllister fits in a lot easier with. So, yeah, I mean, he would be my bet other than Declan, but obviously that he's gone already. But
Declan would have been the one, but
yeah, he would have. Sultan says the team that wants Fab is pronounced the same as Man City Stadium and Gerrard. It's El Etifak. If you're confused with the name, Al Etifak. Okay, cool. Because I know I was having a bit of an issue with that earlier still. And a quick one, I don't know if this is a good idea right now, but ask Monson and Jay why they were Klopp out.
I wasn't Klopp out.
I wasn't. Because of standards, innit? For me, it's like when I look at a Real Madrid, the Bayern Munich, a Barcelona, I mean, a Man City and stuff. If they had this situation, they would act, isn't it? They would act. And now, obviously, luckily, because of what Klopp's done, he's got another chance to go again. But like I said, I expect Liverpool to be challenging for stuff now. If we're 6th and 7th next year, and Klopp's got everyone he wants, and we get all the pieces we want, I'm going to be in that same road. That's not to say I disrespect Klopp. I think he's a terrible manager or anything. No, but that's just yeah. What I think, man. No matter.
I think with the Klopp out allegations, I'm not gonna lie though, I was very much on the brink, and for similar reasons to JJ, where it was a thing where we have standards where we want Liverpool to be, and we don't support Jurgen Klopp FC. It's Liverpool FC, so we all want what's best for the club. In my opinion, at one point I was happy for Klopp to walk to save his legacy, but not out for Liverpool to fire him. I thought at this point, if FSG weren't gonna invest in the summer, I would have been happy with Klopp to walk or resign himself just to save himself from the car crash, which was probably going to happen in terms of Liverpool falling lower and lower in the table. I don't want Klopp to be a part of that. I wanted him to be remembered for the higher and the better times at Liverpool, and not to be a part of the downfall and to be here long enough to go from a hero to a villain. Especially, I just didn't want him to go out the way that Arsene Wenger went out. That's my reasoning for being on the brink and for saying, you know what, if he walks, I can hear that, because I don't want to see you become a villain after you've been our hero, especially for Liverpool fans. So.
We don't get Soboslai if Klopp is our manager. I'm just saying.
Look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. You lot already know how I feel. But let's not do that. Let's stay on track.
Yeah.
Just quickly though, Eddie Ventures is saying, who could we get that'll be like Casemiro? That's kind of what we're talking about now in terms of, like, as Jay was saying earlier, if you bring in someone like Casemiro, you're not really as worried about the experience leaving because you're bringing in experience. So hopefully the transition should be a lot easier. But there's not many Casemiros out there. And let's remember as well, at 30 years old for 66 mil, it seemed to have worked to a degree for Man U. Liverpool ain't never spending £66 million on a 30-year-old. Let's just get that straight right now. We just about did it on a 22-year-old up-and-coming world star. You think we're going to do it for a guy with only 1 or 2 years at the top in his legs left? There is not a chance Liverpool do that. So I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Kimmich, that's not realistic. That would be another player, but he's not realistic. That's not realistic. You know what I mean?
I'm in trouble.
But yeah, Bayesian, what are you saying, bro? We might lose Flacco and Henderson at the same time, bro. How you feeling about this, man?
I'm a bit worried, man. I'll be honest with you, because I know I mentioned to you in your earlier stream to incorporate, if we have to go and get 2 more players, incorporate 4 new players into the team in one window. That's a bit of a madness, man. I think that could be a problem for this season. And I don't think we need that, to be honest. It's out of left field, Flacco. I mean, the Hendo one as well, but now Flacco. I'm kind of hoping, man, that none of the 2 of them go, but I get it. If they want to chase the bag for their families, I understand it 100%. I'm not going to slate them for that. They've done great service for the club, but I don't know, man. I think 4 new players is just a lot for one team to incorporate in one window. That's just my opinion, though. And then who do you get, to be honest?
Isn't it?
Exactly.
It's the fact they're in the same position of the field. If one was a defender, one was a winger, 2 were midfielders, you might be like, we can kind of run this. But when all 4 of them will be in the middle of the pitch, it's like, yo, that's crazy. Like, that's madness.
And then who do you get? I mean, realistically, who do we actually go and sign? We're saying Caicedo, but you really see Liverpool dropping 100 M's on him? No. I don't see it.
No.
Not our
Especially
club.
Chelsea lurking about as well.
No, but even with Caicedo, I find it interesting. Like, the guy's played 43 games, right, for Brighton. Lavia's played 30. Yeah. Like, it's just like it's such a similar sample size, and we're only talking about Caicedo like that because he's gone and played for Brighton that played really well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But is he 100 million? Is he 50 million pound better than Lavia? Like, for me, the way I look at it is, if Lavia
not worth 100 mil, yeah.
For me, if you swap Lavia and Caicedo over, I don't think Southampton or Brighton are in better or worse positions, and they play the same amount of games. And that for me is a worry when you're looking at a player like that. And I think, maybe you go, like you said, you take a risk because it's like, you sometimes you've got to do that. Chelsea are looking like they're going to go and do that as well. We've done it with Darwin Núñez, but 100 million on a player, I don't know. Like, I know, Drift, you said it in the summer show about, Valverde or Caicedo. You prefer Caicedo.
Caicedo, yeah, definitely.
I'm going Valverde any day of the week.
Me too.
Because of
Valverde plays in the same position as Szoboszlai, though, bro. So technically, if we bought Valverde in, he covers Mo. Yeah, he played, but then like we're kind of in the same situation. He's playing the DM role, bro.
That's true.
I think Liverpool just moving too ballsy. Like, and this isn't even at the fan base now. We're just moving too ballsy. After Szoboszlai, right centre mid, who's the backup?
At the moment, it wouldn't even be anybody like literally that would stand out. Henderson was gonna be that guy, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. Let me just get the name. Who's the
maybe
backup?
Curtis.
Elliot. It's gonna be Elliot.
It will be Elliot or Henderson.
I don't want Elliot in midfield no more.
Right? No, but we know what. But how Klopp plays at right centre mid, the backup is either going to be Jordan Henderson or Harvey Elliott, right?
Maybe Curtis
in the 6. I doubt Curtis plays.
I think Curtis is left side, Ram.
Curtis.
But his best game, when we played against Leicester, he was going on that right side and he was getting good amount of opportunities.
Now let's move to the 6. Who's the backup 6?
We ain't even got a backup 6 now, technically.
Now I'm going to move to the left. Now move to the left. Who's the backup? Who's the backup left centre mid?
Well, that would be Jones.
It would be Jones or maybe a Thiago, right? Or
Thiago,
you can even make the argument that all 3 of them can rotate. Yeah, all 3 of them can rotate. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't be offloading free experience. You see what I mean? Like, look at the backup and the right. Forget the left centre mid for a second. That's the only place where we can go. You know what? We got rotation baggage there. 6 and right centre mid. Unless Trent is in there and it's a box midfield, I'm yo.
But Mons, is that even enough? Is that even enough?
Here, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
That's what we're saying, bro. We're saying this.
It's crazy because I want someone like
Gakpo in the 8,
Paulinho. I don't want Paulinho for the next 10 years.
You know, Gakpo could probably play right-sided 8 to a high level. Still, I'm not.
If they're trying to do the Joe Linton thing, but Klopp ain't his muscles like that.
Hey, Joe Linton's a little G. I'm not gonna lie. You have to respect Joe Linton. The man's
Joe Linton's a bad boy. He's a bad boy. I'm saying that Klopp ain't flexed his tactical muscles like that. He hates that. He hates it. He's due to detox back. He's due a detox back to 4-3-3 at some point. And we know this.
It's a good formation flex with the players that we're buying on months, right? If we do get a proper DM, 4-3-3 is actually the best suited way to go about things.
Bro, but if you can't stop the false 9, we're eating. We're back in business. Tell the world we're back up. But we have to, again, Szoboszlai and McAllister, you see that preseason, it's going to hit them hard. Yeah, they look good with the trims.
It's already hit Mac hard, bro.
I'm not going to lie. Szoboszlai's taking this in his stride, bro.
Szoboszlai's loving it,
he's
bro.
taking this in his stride, bro. He had them man there he had them man there saying, wow, like literally wow, after how impressive.
Apparently he was only like a couple like rounds off Milner.
Yeah.
He
And he weren't even breathing heavy.
He wasn't breathing. When he was doing the lactate test, he was far ahead of everybody else. I was doing they were lapping them.
Man's hair was still in position and everything. It was crazy.
Yeah, the hair didn't move, man.
Yeah, it didn't move, bro. Yeah, he wasn't even sweating or nothing. It was nuts. I was like, who is this guy?
Milner usually wins that, innit? Every
Milner,
year.
Milner.
Like, but Mac, I'm a little bit.
I'm hearing. Listen, that's great.
Yeah, Mac looked like he was a bit knackered still.
Fabinho was as good as it gets when we come to. I think Fabinho is as good as it gets here, and he weren't even in the team for a certain amount. Szoboszlai and McAllister are definitely for this season our starters going forward. But I think in the start of the season, it will still be probably a Curtis Jones that starts unless he gets injured or something happens in preseason, God forbid. I think Curtis Jones is probably at least right now. It's his position to lose. And Klopp, again, we're away at the bridge. Game day 1. Szoboszlai and Matt 10 will not be starting, bro. I'm sorry to break it to man. They will not be starting at the bridge.
Well, it depends if Hendo and Flacco are even here still, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If they're not, there's no choice.
You know what's crazy, though, is that you could probably see, if Hendo and Flacco leaves, you could honestly see Klopp go and put Jones in a 6 as well. He did play there for you under 21.
Played there last season,
He could do it. I could see him doing it.
Want to see that.
Oh, me neither, Drift. Me neither, but can't put anything past Klopp. The only way this works is if we play a double pivot, consistently double pivot. Or
which
a box midfield,
do
diamond. Something.
I think when we look at the midfielders that we signed, though, I think that's an indication that we're actually going back to a 4-3-3. Because Klopp's always spoken about, we're not, even in his press conferences, we weren't pressing well enough. Like the midfield the press was getting beaten too often, and it meant that Fabinho, Virgin, everyone were being overexposed. Trent was being overexposed for the system. Now that he's got his runners in his team, you look at the fact that, we were comfy in letting a Calvin Ramsey go. Do you know what I mean? Go on loan. We've got Gomez there that looks like he's going to just be available. I think Trent is still going to play at right back. I think the fact that, look, we're interested in getting in a left-sided centre back because obviously Nat Phillips is going as well. But there's no talk of Tsimikas leaving either, which suggests to me that we're still going to play with a left back as well. It's all about just sorting out the midfield, and if they can go and press, I think Klopp's still going to be like, oh, look, that was the main issue. That's what we're going to go and try and go and do again. So
flexibility, Jay. Flexibility. Horses for courses. We look at the opposition, we see what way they're going, and we play 4-2-3-1, we play 3-5-2, we play 4-3-3. Like, we just flex on the other team, but that's what the options are good for. And I think that's the reason why I loved having Flacco and Hendo in the team, because it was flexibility. It meant we could have a strong Europa League side as well, because I want to win that. I don't know about you lot, but I want to win that.
I think I want to win. I think that's a given for me.
Like, yeah,
Because
I want to win that. It's a major
because of how-
trophy. Like, people can laugh all they want. Let them laugh. Europa League is a major trophy. If we go and win the Europa League, it is a brilliant thing for the season. I want to win that. So I want good players playing in that cup that aren't necessarily your McAllisters and your Soberslides that are going to go play in the Prem on the weekend. But the players that are playing in that game are good enough to win that. Jones, Hendo, Flacco, they're good enough to win those games and get us out of that group, get us into the meat of the knockouts, and then we can bring in your Soberslides and your Salahs in your semi-finals and all that to just make sure we get the job done. Do you know what I mean? You need those players around so you can win these cups. I want to win the Carabao Cup again or the FA Cup. Don't know about you lot, but I want to go win a domestic cup again. You need these men
I'm
around.
the same.
Any major trophy that takes us away from Man United's total, I'm there for. I'll be honest. I've always said this, and I can't be two-faced because when I talk about teams like Arsenal, I go, yeah, cool, great, you signed Rice, amazing. You let go of Partey and Xhaka, you're not moving that far forward. I'd rather.
Are they even moving forward? I'm not gonna lie. Are they actually even moving forward?
This is the question I pose to Arsenal fans, and I can't now go and be like, yeah, cool, whoever we sell is fine because we brought in McAllister and we brought in someone like we might bring in one more. No. You keep what you can for the extra year and bring these guys in, and then you give yourself. I'd rather have a midfield headache than a midfield desert.
Tell him again, Mons, bro.
It's that simple. Like you don't replace. You add, and obviously those that have to leave, of course, you let them go. But if you look at the Lalanas, you look at you got along with Lallana, the Shakiris. These guys were at one point. Lallana at one point, you wanted him to start. There was a time when Klopp come in, and Lallana needed to start. Milner needed to start. The second the other guys came in, the Wijnaldum started working, and all these guys started working. The Lallana were coming off the bench. The second you can make some of those guys that have a look in. Put them on your bench. Again, like what JJ said at the very start of the stream, get these guys coming off the bench. If our bench players at one point are actually Thiago, Henderson, Fabinho for another year, and maybe one of them starts in the midfield, bro, I'm fine with it. Give me the headache. Let these men fight for their play. Szoboszlai's come in, Henderson suddenly looks ripped. Coincidence? I don't think so. Do you know what I'm saying?
What are we saying in terms of like signings then, right? It's actually quite an interesting question. Is there anyone that you guys feel that Liverpool would actually be targeting, but that we're none the wiser of? So obviously we know about Lavia and Thuram, they're the main ones. But do you think Liverpool are looking at someone and maybe trying to come up with another Soberslide deal where it's like tomorrow it's just announced that Liverpool are interested in X player, and it's just like, and maybe the reason why these links are actually emerging about, we're entertaining offers is because Liverpool are already saying, you know what, there's an opportunity to get this player, we're gonna have to offload someone. That's why Klopp's given the green light for a Henderson to go, or given the green light for a Fabinho to go for talk to start commencing.
Someone said a name in the chat. I saw a couple of little hints here and there. I was a big fan of him before, Marcos Llorente.
I like him.
I wouldn't be happy with that personally.
3 years ago, I would have been very happy with that.
Yeah.
Well, about 3 years ago, I would have been happy with
Henderson, isn't it?
my man. No, my man who just left Man United and is going back to Bayern.
Sabitzer.
And the beak.
Sabitzer. I would have been happy with Sabitzer in January.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, I don't know, man. Look,
it's like a Saul situation with him, and I'm a bit iffy with him now. I just see Saul, the same thing's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's by bloody hell with him. Donny, lack of respect around Hendo for the last 3 years from Liverpool fans is unreal. He is a standard setter within the club. That's why Gerrard wants him. Very true. I think a lot of people, hey Kojo, why are you doing me like that, bro? Why are you doing me like that? Big up Kojo.
Wow.
Yeah, it's one of them things where I just don't quite know what we're gonna do, where we're gonna go, whose idea this is, whether this is a good idea or not. I just know this is the most crunch times that Liverpool have ever experienced in terms of like still remaining at that elite level. Yeah, if you're right, Jay, and we take a year off, which I think you can't do after the year we just had, but if you take a year off and then you're set for the next 3 years after that, then if that's what the plan is, I'm not going to be happy with it, but at least I understand where you're going because we'll reap the reward in the future of that. But if we want to remain successful and we want to be challenging still right now, it's a bit crazy. I'm trying to figure out just exactly how we go about this, but I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, just before we wrap this up, people, I'm gonna go around. I'll start with you, Ram, and I'm gonna go around. What are the chances that we actually lose Henderson and Fabinho if I was to ask you right now to put money on it?
If I was going to do that proper odds, I would say it's evens.
Okay, so you are literally split down the middle.
I don't agree with it 100%.
So that
I'll say it straight up.
Go again. Sorry.
What are the actual odds, in your opinion, that we do actually lose Flacco and Henderson in the same window we've already lost the others?
I'll be real. It's just 40%. 40%. I think Henderson's already 70% out there. I think Flacco's kind of more. I think with Flacco, it just depends. He's got a little bit longer left on his contract. I think if Liverpool can get what they asked for 40 million for Flacco, yeah? Because remember, we know Flacco's 30.
We've been offered 40, bro. We didn't even.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Liverpool hasn't openly said we're willing to sell Fabinho. So if we actually look at the wording, and if I'm honest, 40 mil for Flacco, we know Flacco's 39. They still think he's 29. If they bump that up to 50 mil and we keep Henderson, I watched the negotiations yesterday on Coppish on the draft, man.
I hear it, man.
Hey, talk to me nice. We might get a response. You know what I'm saying?
I actually think that's actually a brilliant all-round way for us to go about this. We get 40 plus for Fabinho, keep Hendo around for another year, bring in Lavia or Caicedo to replace Flacco while Henderson and Thiago are still here. Then they go next summer while everybody's bedded in. Then we bring in another person on top of that. I think that's literally the perfect outcome we could ask for.
And let Hendo sit in the 6 rather than right centre mid as well.
Yeah, I think Henderson would be the backup to the 6. Yeah, I think he would. I think that's the plan as now. Henderson will be the backup to the number 6. And if he has to play 8, he'll play 8. I think that's what his role in the team is at the moment.
I still think, even though I didn't rate him, who's the new Jack Rodwell? What's his name? Calvin Phillips would have been a good homegrown replacement a couple years ago before he made the move to City. Even though he's not like my favorite midfielder, but if you're looking,
he looks like he's got too many fitness issues. I think.
We've done that. I told you Jack Rodwell. He's Jack Rodwell reincarnated.
Yeah. At least he's older though, innit? At least Phillips was older. Rodwell was like 22 when he moved, man.
Yeah. It was early.
It was young.
Jay, what are you saying, bro? What are the actual chances you think this is gonna happen, bro?
I think the Hender one's done. You know, I kind of do as well. I think the Hender one's done. I think you can't look when you look at it, right? Henderson's gonna speak to Klopp and be like, all right, where he's got 2 years left on his deal, if I believe. Yeah. He's gonna look at, all right, I'm earning 200k a week at Liverpool.
No, he's only on 140 at Liverpool.
I'll say 140, right? Sorry, so it's 140 at Liverpool. How many games am I going to go and play in the next 2 years? So I'm getting a reduced role this season, and then next season, what is that going to go and look like, right? How is that going to impact? Yeah, exactly. If I was to go and move and play games, which he's probably going to want to go and do, every player's got a bit of an ego. They want to obviously play games. Gerrard did it as well. You're looking at it and thinking, if I go, I'm going to have to take a pay cut. He can go to Saudi for 2 seasons and 700k a week, rumored. And then he can still, if he's got the legs in him, come back and play a reduced role or get some minutes down with some promoted team. That for me just makes so much sense. I think you'd be a bit irresponsible to your family to turn that down if I'm being honest. So I think that one's done. I think the Fabinho one, I think Liverpool are interested in that offer if they can go and secure someone that's like a ready-made replacement for Fabinho, because I think they've planned, I think Klopp, Linders and everyone have planned the upcoming season with Fabinho being the starting number 6. Yeah. If that cog is removed, regardless of what we think of it, if that cog's removed, they need to get a replacement in before they even sell him. Because the worst thing that we can do is get rid of Fabinho and bring in like a Lavia and be like, yeah, well, by Chetic and Lavia, they can do it. The last time we did that with like Sterling, we said Jordan Ives going to be that guy, and it didn't really work out. So I mean, we've done that over the
we had a
years.
Coutinho.
Huh? But
We
even
had Coutinho then.
But even then, it didn't help. But we didn't have him straight away. Coutinho came after that.
Nah, it was when he
started.
started. When
Coutinho was there, but on the right hand side, we didn't have a winger though.
Oh yeah, of course.
So this is my point. So it's yeah. I think the Fabinho one's maybe like 40. I'll go with Mons 40% as well. But I think the Henderson one's like 80% now. I think if the reports are true and Klopp's given the green light to it, there's nothing to talk about anymore. It's done,
it's true. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Just the lawyers are fumbling the bag over North London. Like, just go and see Wagwan, innit?
Yeah.
We've all said that's the perfect Hendo replacement. We can just if we get 40 plus for Flacco up front, we get another 10 to 15 mil for Nat Phillips up front. We get 10 to 20 mil for Hendo up front. Because the Saudis will pay that up front. They don't need to do no payment plan. We're getting that money in the bag right now up front. That means we'll go like 60, 70 mil in the kitty right now to just drop on West Ham's doorstep and go, look, we'll spread the other 35 across 2 years or whatever, but here's 70 right here, right now. Boom. How is this going to help you with your financial fair play situation?
Hey, Drifty.
Careful,
That is never going to happen.
You don't want Gouda Lee coming after you, bro.
For
Careful, huh?
That has sailed, man.
No, of course it has. But I'm hearing that the lawyers are dropping the bag. I'm just saying, like, the contracts ain't been signed yet. And 2 of names on the paper. Go ask Willian. Willian and John
That happened. Liverpool would have had the best transfer window of all time. Like, and Arsenal would be in the mud.
Yes,
mud.
they're done. It's done.
Mud. That's banter for the rest of their lives. So, you know what I mean? But,
Liverpool sneaks in and just steals their girl and takes off through the back door.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Oh, that's going to be a madness, bro. Yeah, I'm with you guys, though. I'm with you guys. I think Flacco is about 30% going to happen, but I think Hendo is done. But let's put it in perspective. If he is going to get 700K a week, guys, you know how much that calculates to? That's $36.4 million a year.
Tax-free.
For one season.
Tax-free.
Accommodation paid for.
Yeah, because
flights included.
Yeah, because look, I'm in the finance world, and a lot of those companies over there, they pay for housing allowance, transportation allowance, all type of stuff is included.
Have you seen how they fly, Bayesian? Have you
seen
how
bro?
It's not even like flights for the transfers anytime you want. As in, like, you could go see your family whenever. They'll just pay for the flights and you can just go.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather. Like, there's nothing that's actually negative about it. And you know what? I think something that we're forgetting. We're forgetting you'll be one of the best players. No disrespect to the players in the Saudi League. Yeah. But if your ego needs a little bit of a pickup after you haven't been doing so well in Europe or whatever, like my man who used to play for Man United and Watford, who's over there now, the Nigerian striker. What's his name? Igalu. Like, he needed a pick-me-up, innit? He needed an ego booster, do you know what I mean? Europe weren't treating him very well. I'm sure he's one of the best strikers in that league now, though. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, Hendo and these men will go over there and they'll be the guns again, innit?
Drift, I just feel sorry for Hendo. He's got shredded for this season thinking, I'm going to try my hardest to get into this Liverpool team. He's getting to Saudi. I don't know if you've seen the training regimen that Gerrard's got going on at El Attifaq.
Yeah, I saw the video. Today.
Terrible. He's telling them, no one's showing for it. Like, it looked like a park training session, like a Sunday.
But that's why he wants to bring in these people who can understand tactics and show everyone how to do it. Do you know what I mean? Lead by example. That's what he wants them to do. Man. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's and you got to remember as well, when you actually deep the whole scenario, by the time it's all said and done, maybe about 20% of that league will be recognizable European quality players. So it won't even feel that foreign to the people going over there. Do you know what I mean? If you got 3-4 players in every team that played in Europe, which is probably what it will end up being, the league will start to feel familiar. So it won't even be that much of I don't know anyone and all that kind of stuff. So they're just all positives, in my opinion, to players moving over there who are at the end of their career. I don't really see any negatives to you being 29 or older taking the move. I just don't see any negative whatsoever. You know what I mean? But That's just me, man. But yeah, so you think it's done, Bajan? Yeah, you think Hendo's gone? Yeah.
I think Hendo is done. And you know what? For stability for his family, that's generational looking now for his kids, kids. That's like close to $80 million in a span of 2 years if he signs a 2-year deal. 80 M's.
On top of what he's already got as well.
Exactly. I think it's a no-brainer on his part, and I don't blame him. I don't blame anyone to take that money, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's silly money.
It's
but
crazy.
We got to see who he gets in. It's crazy because we can't go and let go of these guys and expect a Tyler Morton and a Basacic and those guys to fill the gaps, because then we would be fully in the mud.
I got a feeling that if we do accept Hendo and Flacco, within 24 hours of the news being broke that we've accepted it, we've made a bid for whoever their replacement is. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if we make the bid before they announce the players leaving, if I'm being completely honest. Like right now, Henderson, the replacement is being finalized. Like, let's be honest, that is one thing we do pretty swiftly. Do you know what I mean? It's replace players if that's what Klopp wants and the price is right. Lavia for 50 mil, they're probably just going to do it now. I reckon they're just going to do it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, we might have some breaking news tomorrow or over the weekend regarding players leaving or players coming in. Do you know what I mean?
It might be tonight, bro. It might be tonight. You never know.
It might be. Real talk. Hey, we might have to reconvene and get the Avengers back together again. But people,
facts.
It's been a pleasure, boys. Love for jumping in last minute. I know a lot of people are for it. You know what I mean? So, as always, appreciated. I will make sure the subscription is in the chat for everybody here. Please make sure you go and show your love and support these guys. Part of the Coppish community, obviously, but got their own thing going on as well, guys. So please make sure you support each and every one of them. Big up yourself for jumping in at this last minute. Nearly 1,000 on a random Thursday afternoon. So love as always,
Big up everybody, man.
Big up
all the supers. Big up everyone. Make sure you subscribe as well. Hit that notification to know when we're back. And yeah, boys, this is going to be one hell of a summer, man. This is going to be one hell of a summer. Crazy. Looking forward to it, though. People, we're out, man. Peace.
Peace.